What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today's an awesome day. A special day. I have former WBC champ Maricela Cornejo. Did I say that right?
You said it perfectly.
I tried. I've been practicing all week in the house. I'm super blessed to have her here. She's an inspiration to so many kids, especially females in the Latina community from Los Angeles, right? California.
Originally from Seattle, Washington.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah,
but you were in LA most of your career?
I was in LA, yeah. That's where I started.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm everywhere.
How did you, Washington? I love Washington.
I don't.
Well,
That's
where all the
why
vampires
I
live.
No, well, because it rains too much.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, I love that.
The hair, huh?
Yeah,
It screws up with the hair.
Yeah.
And then I have two friends of mine who host another show in the Sticky Paws studio. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself and if you can, briefly bring up what your show is, because I love your guys' energy. I really am happy that you got to be a part of this, to sit here with myself and with the champ, because this means a lot to me, and I wanted to, I like bringing people together, because we all benefit if we all eat together. I'm not one of those competitive guys. I'm a team player, so I appreciate all of you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm Maria Palmer, and we're Cafecita con Chicas. I'm also a realtor here in Las Vegas. We're promoting, we do a lot for abogados. I'll actually let Miriam tell you more about the abogados, because she actually works out of the office.
Well, first off, thank you for having us here. My name is Miriam Verdugo. I work for Abogados con Experiencia. We do have a podcast that's called Cafecito con Chicas. And also, like I said, we do a lot for Abogados con Experiencia as well. So
Okay, cool.
And we push on the Hispanic community.
Yes.
We want to really educate Latinos, just so they I can't even talk, so they understand the importance of being represented by a lawyer, because you actually have many Hispanics that are afraid. If they're not legal and if they're in an accident, they're afraid to call for help, afraid to even get, to call the police, and then to even get a lawyer to represent them. So with that, many people take advantage, and that's what's sad, and then they're stuck with medical bills, and just kind of goes downhill from there. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
we're thankful to do that, and we're so excited that we get to be here with you.
That's awesome what you guys do.
Yeah, they're-
I was like, I need a lawyer. Okay. I have you on speed dial just in case I get in trouble.
So we got you.
yeah.
So it's funny how we met. Last week, I got called last minute to go be the fourth in a golf scramble
Oh, really?
in
By them?
Henderson. No, so I guess the company, we have another gentleman who's an attorney, Hadari. Shout out to Hadari. I was on his show. But I guess it was for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and with the donation came the scramble. So I ended up getting invited to be the fourth, and every hole was a different company kind of sitting there with a little tent and giving out, waters or their product or samples. And they so happened to be at like hole 8 or 9. And their energy was just through the roof. And it was hot and I was tired. And most of the holes prior to you guys was like, hey, take a shot of this or try this beer. Or and so I was dead by like 10 a.m. And I never really drink, so we met. They actually FaceTimed with my wife a little bit, because my wife was going to come on their show. And then this morning when you guys were leaving, I was like, whoa, would you guys mind? I think it would be fun. So. Yes. Yeah, I'm excited to have all of you guys here. So what's up with you? You've been super busy. I follow you on social media. We've been talking briefly. Shout out to Emily for connecting us. Got to give her flowers.
Yeah. We're Team Fuego on tennis.
Oh, okay.
At the Sterling Club. So
yeah.
She's awesome.
She's really cool. She was, I saw her last Tuesday at the Contender Series.
Did she go?
Yeah, she ended up going last minute.
Awesome.
Yep. And did you end up going to the Contender Series?
No, I got out of dinner too late.
Okay. We'll
It's
make that
tonight
happen.
also, right?
Yeah. Are you gonna? Do you have the ability to still go?
I told him not to include me on the list for. Okay, I have
cool.
something else to do.
Definitely when you have some time, before it ends. I think it's only like 9 weeks. And if you don't know what the Contender Series is, it's Dana White's Contender Series, where up and coming prospects get in the cage in front of Dana at the Apex to fight for a contract. What do you think about that? Can I ask you, being a fighter, like that's probably one of the most important days of their life, right? To try to fight for a UFC contract.
Yes. I didn't follow it too much, but I have a friend, Tate. He's one of the cutmans on the.
Oh, Cutman Tate,
yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to him.
He told me like years ago, get into UFC, get into MMA, and I'm like, yo, I'm lazy. I'm a boxer. Like, we just use our hands. I have to lift my leg up and kick somebody. I'm too lazy for that, and I'm tall also. So And I just thought I didn't like it. But I took a jiu-jitsu class out in Seattle because I had somebody who has a MMA company here. And they said, hey, have you ever thought about, fighting? If you do, you're more than welcome to come fight on mine. I was like, cool. Let me see if I like it. So I did like it. But I'm 36. I'm not getting any younger. And starting right now, absolutely not. So I respect it too much to even attempt to do that. But I love what Dana White has done with the athletes. And, it's just, it's not a mess like boxing. Boxing is just, it's a mess. It's a mess. Nobody is, Dana White is here and he's in control of everybody else. Boxing, it's scrambling. Somebody, help me out.
Why do you think it's like that? Is it like all greed, money based in a way, like, or people just don't?
I'm trying to think of the word that I'm trying to say. There's no corporation, or there's
no structure in there.
There we go. There's no structure, but there's all these bodies of the WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, all this stuff. But there's so many titles, but nobody is like in charge of the fighters. Everybody is on their own, and then you have promoters who have so many on their roster, but they're pushing about 2 or 3 to become superstars. That's about it, and Dana White gets behind, a lot of them. He has so many superstars on the MMA side, but it's because also he has a structure where he has a life story. What was it? Well, the Contender Series, I don't know if they do.
They're starting to kind of
break down their personal life.
Yeah, but Dana doesn't like to know anything about them because he doesn't want to feel
connected to them.
Yeah.
But wasn't there a series that he did before?
They did. It was called the. You're right. We just had. There was a press conference and someone asked Dana where that went, and he was like, "What do you mean? Where did it go? We haven't done that." And he told someone to take a note, and then I heard that they're going to start it up again.
Yes, because that's super important for the audience.
The Road to the Octagon, I think that was it.
Yes, so you learn about their history and their story, and then we as human can relate to them. So we get connected to them, and we follow their journey, and that's how you build up a superstar. You share their story, and everybody goes through a hard time. So we're like, oh, I like him because I connected him this, and they follow them. They're very loyal. So that's how you build the superstars, by telling the stories. But with boxing, they took away our 24/7 on HBO and all that stuff, where they used to have, all the Mayweather and, Pacquiao and the backstories. And that was such an excitement before the big fights. So, and that's what drew a lot of people to watch it. But now there's none of that. And it's just like you have to see that as an athlete. And one thing that I know I'm good at is promoting myself. And some athletes, just like in the beginning of my career, I saw women world champion, but nobody knew who they were. But it was a lot of, and it sucks that I have to say this because I'm a woman, and maybe some people would be like, you should be on our team, but a lot of complaining. They're not giving me this. They're not giving me that. They're not giving me this. I'm not, having this opportunity. But instead of complaining, see what opportunity you can get to create your own path and promote yourself. So I was moving around. That's what I told you. I've lived everywhere because I was moving around, knocking on everybody's doors. And that's where I met Oscar de la Hoya in Miami when I moved out to Miami. And I got in front of him, and he started following me on Instagram. And then from there on out, I was just getting in front of so many other people.
Well, didn't you tell him the first time you saw him, I'm going to fight on your card?
I did.
And he was like, who is it? He didn't know who you were?
Yeah, that was before I became pro. That was I was probably week 2 of learning what a jab was. And he was there. I was training at Wildcard.
Imagine that. You get one of the greatest, at that era of all time, and you yell at him, I'm going to fight on your card one day.
On your card, yeah.
That's dope.
And then I saw Jenny Rivera. I'm sure you guys know who she is. Yeah, she was. Yeah, so Jenny Rivera was going to walk me out, and I saw a glimpse. I say God gives a glimpse to everybody, and it's your responsibility to continue on that path. And God will show us a glimpse of the dream, but not the downfalls. In between, a lot happened. I went to jail. I was facing 12 years. I was kicked out of Vegas. I wasn't allowed to come back in here. So many things happened, in my life, but I continued with it. Like, even when they shut the cells, I remember still okay, I still see that dream, and I'm going to get myself out of here and, work hard to get back on top. And I did. And then Jenny Rivera unfortunately passed away, but I somehow got connected to the Rivera family, and Junkeez walked me out. She sung for one of my fights, and I'm very good friends with her as well. And it's just everything that I saw in my vision became my reality. So I wasn't surprised when all those things were happening, but all the pitfalls that was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard to go by. Sorry guys, I can talk a lot.
No, that's why we're here.
I can talk a lot.
No, it's great. I did 4 podcasts yesterday. I talked more than, and that's why I always wanted to be a barber, because I talk so much that people get sick of hearing me. But then by the time I drive them nuts, I get a new person to talk to.
That's a good one. That's so
No, my thing is people can talk a lot. It's okay. It's if it's interesting.
Yeah.
You're interesting. You got what we want to hear. And that's, like you were saying, how people having a story, that's what we want to know, you know? And I think it is sad how you said that they don't do that anymore when they're going to do a fight. Having that, that is everything.
Yeah.
That's exactly how even little ones, they look at them, they're like, oh, I want to do that. Like, you know what I
Like
mean?
if
That's what
she
it's
came
about. It
from
gives
this
them,
background,
yeah, that I
can
could do
it.
that. Yeah.
anything is possible. Yeah. And you know, like with my story is what I love about God and how he uses our, the most horrible things in our lives. But that's what gives us, I guess, I cannot think of the words.
drive,
is extra
No,
drive,
that gives
or-
us like the license to be like,
The experience.
experience, yes, but like a kid would be like, well, I was sexually molested. Okay, so was I. Oh, I was on meth. So was I. Relatable, yes. I went to jail. So did I. And I still overcame every obstacle. And so can you. So don't ever think that your past is going to be your future. And don't ever think that that's the end for you, because that's just the beginning to something even better. And if you just let go of your past and release it from your hands, God will do so much in your life. But you have to have him be in control of that, not you. So
I love that you say that. My whole life now, looking at where I'm at, I was so embarrassed of the addiction and the drugs, and going from being like a leader of soldiers and combat vet, father as a cop, to like a dad coaching t-ball, to like homeless on drugs, going to jail, and just completely embarrassed. But now that I've come so far from it, and now it's like it's my strength, it's my testimony.
there
And-
we go. It's
Yeah,
your
and
testimony.
it used to be like arrows people could shoot at me, but now it's just my armor, and I love that, because it was literally like every day I was like, I'm a piece of shit, and that's just how I felt. And a lot of people feel like that in the moment, but I honestly, like, I would not go back and change it. I would go back for some of the decisions that caused me to not be able to wake up next to my little girl every day, and I'm blessed to have a 9-month-old. But I've done everything I could possibly do as a dad. That's a whole nother story, and she's gonna know that. A lot of dads fear the day that their little girl grows up and comes knocking on the door, because they did the wrong thing, and I've done all the right things. But it gave me strength, and it also humbled me. Like when I was in a cell detoxing, facing time for whatever, and crying, God, please change my life 6.5 years ago, I never thought I'd be 5 years sober, hanging out with champions, hosting a show.
Good for you.
You know?
Congratulations,
5
Papa.
You know what I
Let's
mean?
go,
And congrats to you. I did read a lot of stuff about a lot of the trials and tribulations that you've been through. I'm not the one to just throw them out there. I like people, if they genuinely just like you, dude, bring them up. But I want to commend you for getting to the level you're at. It's one thing to like come back and like become a truck driver again, or go be like, nothing against truck drivers or teachers but to become like the top like 0.0001% on the earth in your genre, and be a champion, and you're still human and dealing with all this crap that you've gone through, like that either tells me that you went through such dark demons that pushed you just harder than anyone to get, as I use like fuel. But it also shows a lot about your character, because a lot of people just crumble. How do you look back at it now? Like we just said, it's fuel. Did you use it as fuel?
Yeah, I fuel, but all that you say is like what I've done in the top, whatever. To me, I'm like, I feel like I've done nothing. There's still so much in me, that I want to accomplish, and yes, I use it as fuel, but I never wanted to end my career saying what if. So I give it all. And right now I'm actually speaking to somebody who needed some help, or some guidance, or just from my experience in the past. And it's just that's what I find like that God uses is us to help somebody else out. So it's not about us. And I always, no matter what I'm going through, I always try my hardest to think it's not about me. It's to use this experience to share it with somebody else that can help them, and then they pass it on as well. But when I was going through all those trials, I remember clearly when I was sent back to Seattle, running like at 4 a.m. in Seattle. Obviously it's raining. So it was raining, and I remember a cemetery I would pass every time on my run at 4 a.m. It's pitch dark, but I couldn't sleep. Like I was like, I'm out on bail right now. I know I'm going to come back, but I have to do work. So I would run past that cemetery, and I'll be like, I'll be damned if I die with my dreams. So that what if for me I can't give up. For me, it would be if I were to stop here and get a normal job, I'd be dying inside. So I'm better off dead. Because I'd be miserable for the rest of my life because I didn't see what would happen if I just continued, no matter how bad it can get.
I get
Trust
it.
me, it can always get worse.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, it can always get worse. So I'm just like, well, thank you for this, and I'm still breathing, so that means I still have an opportunity.
Mike Tyson. Somebody just asked Mike Tyson. They said, you've done beautiful things, but you also have a past. How do you deal with people in the public criticizing you? And he said, when I think that I'm somebody, I get really angry. But when I remember that I'm nobody, it doesn't bother me. And I was like, holy shit.
There's been amazing things I've seen about him lately. Yeah. More and more, they've been bringing him out with stuff like I didn't know he had lost a child, and and all the different
on a treadmill.
And it was interesting how he said he goes no, I just have to kind of keep living with it. You know what I mean?
That's how I see him cry a lot, and I relate to that.
Yeah. He says he goes I didn't get over it. He goes, I'll never get over it.
Yeah.
And it's true. We don't always get over things. It's just how we continue. That's the main thing. Like you were talking about abuse. It happened, went through it 3 years, all that when I was young and all that. But something in me always said, you're going to be okay. You got this. Like it just, I don't know what it was, but it just never in my head, I just always knew. I'm talking, I went through some shit, But it's crazy how your brain just kind of, you push, but I always felt like he's got my back. He's like, nah, you got more. You got things you got to do, And for some reason, people always like either are comfortable around me, and they're like, I need to be around Maria because she's going to make me laugh. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm always laughing, but like, it's so true. I sometimes you don't even have the words to explain it, but Like there were times where I barely had, like, it was me and just my kid, and I went to the grocery store, and I'm like, dude, God, I got to be able to get all this exactly to the change, what I had in my pocket. I'm talking exactly. I'm like, oh, God. Like, it just gets you. You're like, I knew it.
See, moments like that.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, moments like that remind me, like, well, no matter what I'm dealing with at this particular moment, I've seen God do his work back then. So I know he's going to come through. So just shut up, Marty, and continue to, tie your shoes and go for a run. Do what you know, what you are in control of. And that's your current decisions. But God's got this. And what you said is like the public has been bringing his past out and everything like that. That's why I speak so freely about my past. Because when I was in jail, I was like, I'll be damned if somebody is like, oh, did you know this about her? No, I went to jail. I was sexually abused. I was on meth. I will speak about it because I will not allow anybody to have power over me.
That's
never.
Exactly.
Same.
Never.
I do the same thing. Because no.
People want clout, so they'll try to do that.
Yeah.
So no, absolutely
and
not.
that belief too, like, we just moved out here for the show, and obviously it's a newer show, so we're like, I have a daughter and a wife, and I'm not making certain things financially yet, because it's new, but I keep saying, just wait, it's gonna happen, because I just know, I feel it. I think because some people are just meant to do certain things. And for me, I've always been a connector and just meant to make people feel comfortable and smile. And I've been talking my entire life. So why not finally use the voice that God gave me? So like when you're in those dark times and you're like, damn, this is over. I look back, like you just said, those were some of the most beautiful times. Like I can't believe some of the things that happen in the darkest times. But I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, you know, somebody's watching over me.
Yeah.
And that what you said of, dang it, I was gonna interrupt you so I won't forget. My short-term memory is not the best, man.
I got blown up in the war. Mine's gone
lost
too.
my wallet. So,
Mine's too much smoky back in the day.
oh my gosh, I kid you not.
It's the bleach.
It's a bleach. Yes, for
It
sure.
killed my brain cells.
The fumes from the bleach.
So what's life like now for you? You're in Vegas. Are you here because it's the fight capital? Or are you here because you love Vegas?
I came back. I always said, and it's all, man, they're gonna be like, was this Sunday service? Because it's all about God. But like literally, I
He's
always
speaking
said,
through you right now. Let it
I
go. Let it
always
go.
said,
Every
if I
day.
come back to Vegas, it's because God brought me back because of my church. I go to the church. Oh my gosh, the Church of LV. The Church of LV. Yeah, with Pastor Benny Perez and Wendy Perez here, and I've been connected to that church since 10 years ago when I lived here, and I was going through such a hard time, and that church always got me through everything. But I was raised in church, and my thing, no matter where I moved, LA, Miami, I was out in New York for a few months. Here, I always found my three things: a lawyer, just in case I got in trouble,
I love it.
a church, and then a good doctor. So, so I just always needed those three things, and I would always, find a church because I didn't have my family with me. All my family's in Washington State. I come from 6 of us, so it's 5 girls, 1 boy, and I was a crazy one who left Washington State. But I just always knew, like inside, like I know I'm gonna do more. And I moved to LA for a construction job, and I was working for an attorney out in Seattle, and I got an opportunity to move to LA. They flew me out, and I worked for that company, healthcare technical services, at Marietta Hospital at LAX. We did some projects there, and I was communicating between all the subcontractors to the main contractor, seeing how far the project progressed and what needed to be done, who was holding up the project and whatnot. So they laid me off, and that's when I walked into Freddie Roach's, and that was my last job. That was like 11 years ago, yeah. So.
And I had seen that you wanted to be an actress first, and that.
Well, yes,
like,
I was.
You were like, I'm gonna go become a boxer to get famous to be an actress in Hollywood or something.
No, I was to lose weight.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to lose those 10 pounds. 11 years later. So I had a role with Eric Roberts on the big screen, Julia Roberts' brother. And it was a comedy, White Tea, and I was like, I'm gonna be on the big screen. I'm gonna go lose weight. So I signed up. I got 10 lessons, and then they told me I hit hard. And then when I used that, when I would go on auditions, the director or the producer would ask me, "What do you do on your downtime?" And I'm in a dress, heels, and everything like that. And there's all these beautiful girls, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm an upcoming boxer." What? And then they'd be like, so they remember me, and then I would get my own room. And I'd get lines to movies, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna literally fight my way through Hollywood. And at that time, it was Gina Carano who had just done Haywire. So I was like, I'm gonna be the Gina Carano in boxing,
Yeah.
But I truly fell in love with the sport, and I was like, if that comes. But right now, I love boxing, and I just dedicated my entire life to it. So
Cool. I always wanted to act though too. I'm not lying. I still want to do. I'm gonna do it one day. I'm cool.
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No, I think it'd be fun. You'd be. That, of course, when you walk in, people think like you're a model.
I know.
You're
when
freaking
you walked
gorgeous.
in
I'm like,
here.
she doesn't look like she could break our ass in two. Like holy.
No,
I mean, right? It's like, oh my gosh.
Some of the most
thought.
nice, humble, beautiful
It's
people in the
so
world
funny.
will
Don't
take
mess
you
with
out.
them.
I know now when you said that about how you said something about pain and that other people. It's because I think also with you how you said a lot of people want to get close to you because you make them laugh. And it's because we felt so much pain and we know what that pain feels like. And for me,
So we have that compassion. Huh?
yes,
That's what it is. I think.
So
Yeah. that
I
makes
know the
sense.
lowest of lows and I know the highest of highs, but I see how I was treated when I was a late bloomer. I was the ugly duckling of my family. I was the ugliest one. And I would pray at night. I'd be like, God, just make me pretty like my sisters. I would pray. I would have that prayer. So I was a late bloomer, but those same people that, you know, I was interested in back then, now they were interested in me, but they treated me a certain way. And I still always remember that. So anytime I see somebody with their head down, like I give them their my attention, and I, you know, everybody matters. And that's what I think we all in this life we go to sleep and we're like, do I matter? Yes, we all matter. We're all here, you know, with the same purpose, is trying to accomplish our dream. So anybody out there who's trying to accomplish a dream, I have so much respect for. Yeah, that was what I had forgotten. Sorry.
I want to ask you.
Relate to.
I want to ask you a question that I'm starting to deal with now that I'm around famous people and some celebrities, and you know, I'm kind of getting into the box that you've been in for a while, and I have a lot of people from the outside. How do you separate, like as someone at your level, you know, former, you know, boxing champion? How do you separate, like you just said, we want to make people feel good and be compassionate, but I feel like I have a bad track record of being so nice that I get hurt and shit on a lot and taken advantage of. So when you start growing, like we're all doing, and you know, for the first time in 37 years, being a little successful, or what I feel is success, because I'm finally happy. How do you separate yourself? Like, do you have to, you have to have mastered that at this point.
From
just like the outside, all of it. People trying to get in your bubble just to use you, like all of that stuff.
I just said this yesterday to somebody who's in my life now, who I'm helping out through a tough time. I said, like, I've gotten screwed over so much because of my nice heart. And I have to stop myself sometimes, because I'm like, here, this, I'll help you, here, this, you know, because I know I have the resources for that. I could just pick up the phone and do this. Because when I was starting off, nobody helped me out. Nobody looks at you when you're first starting off. So anybody who helps out, you know, in the beginning is like, it's awesome. I love that feeling. But if you're in a position to help somebody else out, that's what it's all about, you know. So I get so much free stuff sent to me. And I had boxes of so much free stuff. So I just see who's working hard and who always shows up. I give them like what they need, and it's good gloves, whatever, shoes, all this stuff. But with that, I got screwed over so much, and it was a hard lesson, but I didn't allow my heart to get cold. One thing that taught me was patience. Patience is, don't give too much too soon. Just listen to what they say, but most importantly, watch what they do. So they'll give you all the answers.
That's awesome.
To everything. So be patient. As much as you want to help out so much, you got to remember, not everybody has your heart. Not everybody will be like, I would never do that. Well, somebody will do that to you. So just that. Don't stop helping out people, but just watch what I first listen to what they tell me that they need, and then I watch what they do. Do they show up at the gym? Are they really serious about it? And then that just answers my question. I'm like, no, he's just part-time, you know.
Yeah, they're just trying to.
My wife always, quick help.
She always says, you're just so nice. You've been through so much, you're still nice. And they're an asshole. And I always say, I'm never going to change who I am because of what somebody else is actually.
Don't let your heart
But
grow
I
cold.
always say all the time what you said about letting your heart get cold. Exactly the thing I always said.
Is it because many times
Because
as you
God
get
don't
stepped
judge
on?
me, and if God don't judge me, you ain't coming at me.
Yeah.
You don't get to come at me.
Yeah.
You don't judge me. Why are you gonna let somebody else be a certain way, right?
Yeah.
So you got to keep your heart right. And heck yes, I tell my daughter all the time. I'm like, boo boo, because she tells me, Mom, how did you tell them pretty much to whatever
I've heard that.
by what you said? I said, because boo boo, I always use your words, use what you know, and stay professional at all times, and you'll realize that person that was coming at you crazy is gonna apologize.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna notice that they look like an ass.
Yes.
So but keep yourself right. I told her, don't get all mad, because then you're gonna get to their level, and then now you let them win.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't. But exactly what you said. I'm glad my heart ain't cold, because I know we all have something that could have made us be cold as hell.
I got a book.
In this room,
Right? So obviously,
my
you
God.
can't fight fire with fire. So I tend to fight fire with love.
Right?
there you go.
I say that all the time.
Love wins.
Yep.
Always.
It does.
Like if
Yeah,
I
it
would have
does.
went through everything with my ex and just bashed her and all that, tried to like just go meet her hate with hate instead of love, who wins?
Nobody.
Exactly.
And then they just say, well, you are what we said you were.
Exactly.
And I'm not. Like,
But that's exactly it.
That kind of segues into like a pretty cool question that may be a little corny, but I got to ask some boxing stuff because you are a
Of
boxer.
course.
I've been seeing a lot of this red pill crap going around with these like guys who are like talking to women about, you know, how many books did you read and all that crap. Have you seen that? They're kind of like, and I was raised, and I'm not just like brown nosing because I'm surrounded by 4 women that could just beat the hell out of me.
Facts.
I was raised by my grandma and my dad. I love my wife, and I have 2 daughters. So my favorite people in the world are women. So I'm all for, but to be around, you know, 4 alpha strong women, how is it being, and I don't know how I said it before, but I said, you probably don't walk to your car from like the Target at 9:00 at night with the same fear as a lot of women. Does that make sense? Because of how your training and like, how has it been as a woman to be like such a pillar of not just the community, but individually that strong?
I'm so
I know it was a horrible question.
No. Jail taught me to never have my back against the door first, and to always be like, I can watch her movement as I'm talking to you. I'm aware of what she's doing, so I can stop something if she's trying to swing at me over here. You know, so I'm very aware. I'm very aware of my surroundings, but I still have that same fear. I'm still a woman at the end. I still know men are much more stronger, and you know, things can catch you by surprise, and just because I know how to fight don't mean that they can have something in a thing and cover me, you know, with the
chloroform.
That I go to sleep with. So I still have that fear. So all it is, the importance to me is like, I walk into a room and I see where the exit's at, how many people are in there, who goes behind me. I'm super hyper aware of my surroundings.
You'd get along with me and all my army buddies because I have the same fear, but it's times 1,000 because it's like kind of fictitious. It's not real because I pump gas and I'm like, sniper's gonna take me out today. Like I just and I'm like in Las Vegas, like the car's gonna blow up. I'm always like, that's why I carry everywhere I go because I'm just petrified of everything.
I'll be the same way. Even driving, I'm just like, okay, there's so many. I'm like, can I just enjoy driving?
That's what I do.
Yeah, leave me alone.
When I'm driving, it's exactly what I do. I always look because I'm like, all right, traffic's pretty crazy. If shit's gonna go down because that fool behind me is driving like a mother. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go this way. Okay, and if I see a guy on a bike, I'm like, yo, that car ain't paying attention to that guy on that motorcycle. Something goes down.
Thank
all right, Maria,
you.
you still remember how to do this. You know how to compress. You know how to go save somebody. I literally do this in my head.
Everything in this bag.
I do. I play this shit out all the time. And my daughter, when she drives with me, whenever we get to hang out, she's like, Mom, how the hell did you know? I was like, because girl, I'll be watching all this shit. I'm like, I said, now you're in my car too? Oh hell no, ain't nobody taking my baby girl out. You know?
I have a friend who's the complete opposite, who doesn't even. She's like, oh, the exit. I'm like,
who not to drive with?
No, but I have to have patience. She teaches me patience. I say, God, I used to pray for patience, and God will give me every opportunity to practice patience. You know? So I don't know, but yes, I love that. I've never met anybody who described every single thing that you said is what goes through my mind.
I do that. It's funny. I didn't know anybody else ever did. I thought I was just fucking loca.
No.
I was just a loca because I literally be like, because you know that doesn't look good. Okay, get ready because that guy might hit him.
So if you break hard, the car
you better
behind
stop
you.
and save him. He's gonna need you. And I even think about what I got on. I'm like, fuck it. I got the cute bra on. I'll take my shirt off. I don't care. I'm saving a life.
Hey guys, are you sure you're not all war vets? Because that's I get paid money every month for being nuts thinking
like
about this
that.
shit.
I do. People have never heard this. And I'm like, what the hell? But no,
I got tourniquets. I got all gloves. I got guns. I got all kinds of crap in my car. I'm ready.
But I was thinking, if you don't have shit in your car, what you got on? Take shit off.
Oh, your
Use
belt.
what you got. It is right. Do what you can with what you got. That's how I always say, improvise.
Yeah.
I always believe you got to
I
be
drive
ready
my
and
wife
improvise.
crazy. She's like, yo, we're in Burger King. Chill. Like, it's Starbucks. No one's coming to burn the building down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to go to the movie theater. But I think that's another reason why hypervigilance keeps people alive. You know, it's what keeps you at that level when you're in the boxing ring, because you kind of take all that training and the hypervigilance in there to your regular life.
But it was very difficult in the beginning because I did not grow up as a boxer. I came into boxing at 25.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
You
That's
know?
most people. They're what,
Yeah.
6, 7. Their
seven.
uncles teaching them in the garage. And
Exactly. So I learned what a jab was at 25, and then I was like, well, yeah, sure. I didn't realize. I remember my first few fights as a professional. I'd be walking out. Like, I can't believe I'm boxing. I mean, like, having a fight, you know? So it's just like...
is that John Travolta?
I know. What up, Tyson?
Yeah.
That's Chavez calling my fight. So it was crazy. So my mind of being a boxer, so many people were like, I'm just a boxer. And I always was like, oh, I think that's wrong. Like, you should be a boxer, yes, but you're so much more than a boxer. Don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in that little box, period. I would always be like, I'm a businesswoman, and you have to take boxing as a businesswoman. You're walking, you are your brand. So take care of that. And then the world is so small, boxing world, sport world, wherever. Yeah, word gets around. That's one thing. I also came into the sport being a woman in a man's sport. A lot of men around. And I never wanted that to be like, oh, she slept around. Nope. Nope. You cannot walk into a gym and nobody can say that about me.
That happens in the military a lot too. I've had soldiers come to me crying because like there's a narrative out there like, hey, Sergeant, people are saying that I'm sleeping with soldiers in the barracks and I'm not. And then I just go crush every male in sight outside and make them want to quit the military. But yeah, how different and hard is it? Not to cut you off, but like that, I've seen the pain in a young lady's eyes from people saying things like that. It had to be a lot harder coming in at a later time and then coming into like, how many female boxers are there? There wasn't many.
They were out there, but they just weren't representative. Yeah, they weren't representative themselves. They weren't doing the promo themselves, and then they didn't have the resources, and then they just allowed their present perspective to just keep them there. You have to get out of whatever area. If you don't see it there, and I don't know, God has been so good to me. I say, God me tiene chiquiada, because he's blesses me with whatever. If I take that step, I have the courage to take that step and obey, him. And if I get like that whisper, move here, I'll be. Back then I had so much cojones, because now
I know what that word meant.
I was like, I know you know.
Now I think about it a little bit too much, but back then I had this crazy dream, and it was just like, okay, move to Miami. Nobody in Miami, but I'm moving like that. And then God presented somebody to help me out, to get a job, I didn't even have a place to live out there, to find a place to live, to get in contact with Oscar, and he will place everybody, the alchemist.
So true.
When you go after your dream, your journey, the world arises and meets you. But you have to be courageous and take that step, because you can't see step 10 from step 0. Step 10 will seem closer after step 1, 2, 3, but you have to do the work. And people see, like I said, I watch in my life, people have seen me hustle and, just grind and stay disciplined. And they're more than happy to help me out. Just like I'm more than happy to help out people as well. The world will arise and meet you halfway.
You're giving me chills because of
I love
like
it.
we're sitting in this chair. I don't know if you know the story. You probably don't. I was completely broke, fighting for custody. I was newly married, but we didn't have a lot. Living in a trailer, like a RV resort out here during COVID, and I made a cardboard sign, and I held it in front of the UFC, and it said, "Uncle Dana, Iraq vet, please let me watch the fights." And security came out, and Dana brought me in. And I became cool with Dana, went to like 5 fights. Through Dana, I met the owner of the studio, and he followed me and watched me with no money, feed homeless and do interviews and just be a good friend and a good father and a good husband for 2 years. And last March, he called me and said, hey, you're the guy. Come host Fight Junkeez. And now we're here.
Love
and like to hear that, it's just,
oh my God, for
you said step 2. I didn't know my dad had to help me get an apartment out here at 37 because of bad decisions and drugs and divorce,
But it's never too late.
No, I'm like, if I would have gotten this then, I would have messed it up.
Yep.
That's the key thing. I say that all the time to people. You got to understand when they're like, no, but I'm like, keep doing what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
I promise you, because actually for me, it was a divorce. Didn't realize just how they tear you, just shit happened. But as soon as I finally said, I'm done, I don't care. I left with my daughter with nothing. I didn't give I left everything. He stayed with the house. I didn't give 2 shits. Like when I left, those doors were like, bah, bah, open it, open it, open it, open it. And then I found myself again, and I'm like, yo, I will always have a voice. I ain't going back to that shit, like how shit went down. But that's so true. Bob.
Yeah, to be here, it's like every
crazy,
door
right?
just keeps going, and it's like, holy
And the hustle's
crap.
real, too, like you were saying. And that's what everybody telling me, girl, you always like, at one point, people never even thought I had kids before. Because they're like, you had kids? I'm like, yeah. Joe was like, I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to get your shit going. You got to do what you got to do, though, right? It's like, But
It's crazy how things just kind of fall into place.
Great when it does, though. Shit. It's the
Yeah.
best.
You have to be ready for it in whatever point of your life. You're not ready to listen to the same words that I'm ready to listen to now. I've always been an old soul, so I was always very diligent in listening to, people's stories and what they've been through, and I loved that. I always had older friends also.
Same.
But when I was released from jail, I was sent back home, and it was until then that I shared with my family that I was sexually molested. But it liberated me, and once it liberated me, my mom also shared something very dark from her past, and then I moved to Miami, and bam, 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 just the way you did it right now, that's what happened in my life. Doors started opening. I went on Univision, Primer Impacto. I said my story on there. Was crying my eyes out, but I got so many messages from so many people saying that also happened to me. Thank you for using your platform for that. But that's why I started boxing, was to create a platform so I could say my story, because there was kids out there, or there may be kids, adults, women, men, not courageous to speak up and living with this. And I would always get in my own way, and just was destroying myself and my potential for my dreams to come true, because I was living with this on my shoulders. So once I shared it, and every time I would share it, it healed me. It helped to heal me. So that's what it mostly does. Is just like, if you have the courage to talk about it, you're going to help so many, but on the way, it does so much more for you.
Feels so good, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I would have never, in front of anyone, especially in like a public setting, spoke about that I was a drug addict and in jail and like went through. I was literally so embarrassed, and I'm like, well, these people are never going to give me a chance. They're not going to want to talk to me. I'm going to be a liability to them. Like, but if they only knew who I was, y'all that scenarios in your brain. And when I finally got out of my own way and just was honest and said, fuck it. Here we are.
For me, getting out of your own way. And like you mentioned too, how just the way people can relate is, you're amazed when you realize how many people have the same freaking story.
Yeah.
They just might have a little twist to theirs. That's it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us have gone through so much of the same stuff. And when you say about the abuse again, though, it's a lot of men that are afraid to come out, but there's a lot of men out there getting abused. A ton.
I was a sexual assault
lot,
response coordinator. I had men come to me all the time in the military, and I wasn't allowed to report it, even though I was military police. I couldn't, which is weird that I was a cop and still went through all this crap post. And I was like, well, now I'm on the other side of the bar. What the hell is going on? But it was tons of men that were abused.
Yeah, and it happens so more often than people know, and it's sad.
It scares me because I have 2 little girls. I keep them,
Oh man, that's the scariest thing.
But I can shoot a flea off a tick's ass at 1,000 yards.
Like my daughter, she always wanted to go here, there, and I finally had to just grab her. I'm like, this is why, because you don't let me do nothing. It's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm gonna tell you what the hell happened to me. And she was just like, and then that was it. But our relationship got so much better because I just broke it down. I'm like, this is why I say no when you say you want to go here at this time, or this or that. I said, this is what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it happens, but this is what happened to me. That's why I have this extra guard on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because God forbid I would never.
I'm so afraid to ever become a mother if God allows me to become a mother, because I'm just gonna be like,
She'll be knocking motherfuckers
I'll
out.
have like loaded guns here, my fist is guns. Like, man, that child is gonna
Mom,
know,
you KO'd the last 6 boys I talked to. So you're in Vegas now. Are you actively like in any training camp? What's the future looking like for you?
Right now, I am actually home. I'm in the middle of home buying. So you said yeah. So I'm doing that. That's what I'm.
That's a lot of
focusing
stress.
in on. Yes, this freaking house that I wanted. This lady did not give us a chance to make a, what is it called?
An offer?
An offer.
Counter.
Oh, counter offer.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So that was just, I wanted to go buy that house and egg it. But I know it wasn't that.
I'll get the toilet paper. I'm down.
But it's really, yeah.
She was an egg. We gotta give her eggs.
She's gonna egg. I'm gonna toilet paper.
yeah.
We're gonna hit
that'd
them
be real
hard.
sticky and hard
I
to get
was
off.
so mad.
You fell in love with that house, huh?
I did. I already
I feel it.
Aww.
So anyway, so that's it. And then I'm just staying in the gym. I love the gym. So, and then I had to stay in the gym because I got too light. Like, I'm now fighting at 147. Like 2 weeks ago, I was weighing 149. So I'm like, then I sparred. That's 2 pounds away. That's like, and
What do you normally cut?
I haven't had an issue with cutting because I used to have implants, breast implants, and I had a thing called it's breast implant illness, and it had a lot of inflammation. My body was fighting against itself. I thought I was dying. Every freaking day I would wake up with so much pain, so much inflammation. I couldn't open up a water bottle, yet I was going to the gym to box. It was a lot of brain fog, a lot of anxiety. I was on antidepressants. I was on so many medications. I've seen psychologists, psychiatrists, everything, going in and out of the hospital. They couldn't find out what was wrong with me. But I always, in back of my head, I had done some research like 6 years ago, and it was BII, breast implant illness, and a lot of women were starting to talk about it, and I had every single symptom. And finally I was just like, I fought my last fight with them October of like 2 years ago, because it's now October will be 2 years of me removing my implants. And I fought that fight overly medicated because I was having anxiety. I had Chris Cyborg sparring, and I got a panic attack. I got this massive panic attack. I was about to cancel the fight, but I got prescriptions, and it helped me calm me down to be able to fight. But I took 2 because I was like, what if I was afraid.
Yeah.
So I remember in that fight, I was like,
You were just chilling.
I was so chilling. But I won him. But I called my doctor. I was like, get him out. And the minute I woke up, the second I should say, I woke up from after getting removed, I took this deep breath I could not take for such a long time. My eye pupils were white now. They used to be like yellow. I didn't take any medication. I went on a hike. The colors of the sky was so much more vibrant.
Your body was just rejecting it?
Oh yeah.
And I knew about this. I wasn't going to bring it up.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
But I'm glad because a lot of people don't have the courage to say, I know what's wrong. Let me go make the change. Your body was it because you're a boxer, or didn't matter what you did?
Well, I don't know, because I got the implants 6 months before I stepped into the gym. I was getting them because I broke up with my boyfriend. I want to be like, bam, boy, look what you missing out on. So I came to Vegas with fresh new rack, and then I wanted to fight, and I was just like, well, I don't know if this helps, but so I took them out, and I lost so much weight, but I lost so much inflammation.
So you were holding water?
Right.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous, because I was eating super healthy. I was working out like 20 times a freaking day. Like, it was insane, but I just could not drop the weight, but it was inflammation. So that's why I went from such a crazy like weight class drop from 168 to now 147.
Yeah. So you were super middleweight? Is that what?
I was super middleweight. I wouldn't weigh like 167, 166, but super middleweight, and then my body was just like releasing. I'm still like detoxing from, getting them removed, but like it was bad. Like it's Suicide Awareness Month, I believe. And there's a video that I haven't had the courage, I'll be very, very honest, to post. Because
you're not alone. Ideations all the time. I'm just used to it by now.
But it was that bad. Like, I wanted to end my life because of it. So
I cried. How many times did I cry last night on the show?
Plenty.
Every day.
I think he cried about like 6 times a podcast.
Yeah.
Aww.
Every day. And I think it's because I'm finally so grateful and happy, but I still have a lot that I haven't released. Like, I had to sign the paper kind of after 7 years of fighting for my little girl and having her ripped from me and kept from me. And even though I have no record, everything's dismissed, even though I did hair follicle test and lived back, never missed child, like did everything I could because I am a war vet with PTSD on record. And I'm a Yankee in Southeast Texas. It didn't matter what I said. And you can't beat City Hall. So I still haven't grieved the fact that after 7 years, I signed the paper and said, I can't take this anymore. Because I also have 2 adopted sons that my ex had when we met. And I took them and became their dad. But behind my back, they were with their biological dad for 3 years while I'm paying child support. And I was living in the camper. And I'm like, well, as long as my kids are still in the 5-bedroom house and they're fine, I'm dad. I'm supposed to suffer for my kids. So I suffered all these years. And then my wife, I'm remarried years later, and we have a 9-month-old. When she got pregnant, I was like, that baby doesn't deserve me to be this person. So I ended like 3 months ago, I signed over the paper and literally signed it, mailed it out, and came in and did a podcast. And I haven't grieved yet. And then people say, oh, you're going to see her when she's older. And I know that. And we're going to have a beautiful second chapter. but I'm never going to get that little girl back. So there's still a lot of pain. And that's why I think I tear up so much, you know, with the war and all the friends that have committed suicide.
real.
And I think that's why I relate to the fighter so much, because I've never met a fighter that isn't a beautiful person post pain. You know, like the similarity from a combat vet who's dealt with addiction and darkness to a fighter, it's like almost identical. The team spirit, the competitiveness, you know.
Have you forgiven yourself for those when you did to be able to move past it, like to grieve? How you say you haven't grieved it? Have you truly forgiven yourself for when you were making those bad decisions?
I don't know. I'd like to say that I sleep good at night knowing I've done everything I could possibly do as a person, and I've been the nicest human I could be, even to people who didn't deserve it, like my ex who kept my children from me. Because there's dads who don't care. You know, I'm one of the few men that fought and did everything I could, and had my dad pull money out of his 401k, everything to fight for my kids. And I felt guilty about all of that until I finally did all those things. Once I got an attorney and did the hair test and fought for them and still lost because of a biased system, ever since then, I think I've forgiven myself. But those 5 years before that, when I was relapsing and still not really trying, I was very up and down and upset. And had a lot of hate for myself and my actions. But once you do every single thing and you exhaust every single possibility to be in your children's lives and they're still kept from you, I felt almost liberated. Like I don't have any more guilt. I still take ownership that I'm the reason I'm in this situation. If I didn't get high and lose my mind and say hurtful things that scared people years ago, they would have never had the ability to ever separate me. So I've taken full ownership. But this is a new thing, like not knowing what your daughter, get me emotional, like not knowing what she looks like. That hurts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have another daughter who I give so much love to, and I hate that she doesn't know her big sister. And it's like, how dare you, someone who just wants to spite someone else, hurt these babies because they don't deserve it. You know? And so, yeah, I got a lot of healing to do.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
you're on the right path. You're on you did everything, like you said, you know, that you could.
Yep.
And prior to that, you weren't. But you realized that and you tried to correct that.
Yeah.
And you did. So even though everybody says that, you know, one day all this stuff, but still the present is not that, you know? Yeah. And there are going to be definitely days where all those thoughts are going to come. Did I do the right thing by signing? Am I going to go over this? You're never going to get over it. You know, you're just going to have to continue to live with it. And every time that thought comes back, because the mind is so powerful, it can destroy you or it can help build you. So you have to continue to remind yourself that you did everything you could, and then just take it day by day.
Yeah.
But there'll
She's
be
gonna
good days
know.
and there'll be bad days. But
And that's why I go so hard for the show, because I feel it. I feel like where it could go. And it's not even a financial thing. I've never had money, so like that's not even it. It's just a happiness, finally, like bringing joy to other people and like doing something that I love. But I'm like, I could either be a relapsed, like middle-aged piece of crap dad when she comes to find me when she's 18 or sooner, or I can be the host of a very successful show who sits down with champions and who's, you know, loved among his peers and looked up to. I'd rather be that guy.
Exactly.
You know, so I could either be what they expect me to be or what they told everyone I would be, or I can be who I already know I am. Because I've always been this guy. I tell people when they say, how'd you get sober? I say, I wasn't a drug addict. I just had a lot of trauma I never dealt with, and I just numbed it. Once I started going to therapy and going to the VA and fixing it and let my ego go, being a 37, like combat vet, former sergeant, like especially 20 years ago, you couldn't cry. You couldn't say, I need to go see the chaplain, or I need mental health, or I'm having bad thoughts or nightmares and I'm scared. You couldn't, because military, it was like you just didn't do
considered
it.
weak,
Yeah.
right? If you're human, it's considered weak.
So now, yeah. So once I gave all of that away and was
Yeah.
like, this is really who I am, I feel stronger now than ever. Even a guy who tears up a lot, I'm still stronger than the guy who
you
never
absolutely
cried.
are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
So
gotta say
many
they're
don't
both
have the
in-
courage to face what you face, you know?
Yeah, and
It's
you
too
as well.
hard. It's too hard because it is hard and it's scary. because you're gonna cry a lot. You're gonna have to let go of a lot, but facing it is the best thing you can ever do.
Yeah.
So
What
But with
you've done.
You said too, with what you said, a lot of people are going to see and understand and relate to what you shared. And with what you're saying, Papa, watch. Sooner than you know, she's going to come to you.
Yeah.
And she's going to see who you are.
I think the boys too. I raised them.
That's going to happen for you.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen for
Yeah.
you because everything's opening up for you. There's no way God is not going to have that come your way. It's going to happen. And with what you said about your story, girls are going to relate and they're going to realize, you know what, though, for them, they're going to realize, okay, do I want the looks for this or whatever, or do I want my health? Because that shit can kill you. And people don't realize the toxicness that goes through when your body is rejecting something.
Yeah.
It's saying, get this shit out.
Yeah.
Because I've known girls that they didn't know what was wrong. They'll tell me something like, you better go get checked because something ain't right. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I know that's going to be hard, but like you said, the relief of when it was done, you knew
oh yeah,
that it was totally,
yeah.
you
And
know.
even the doctor was like, "Are you sure they're gonna look?" I'm like, "Homie, I wanted to kill myself. Like I need
that's
them out,
huge.
or else
Yeah.
I'm
gone. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Like I did a video for my family. That's how far it went. The pain I was
Yeah.
suffering with, and it's just like. And I was still fighting, but a lot of people didn't realize, like, I had so many fights to
We're
even
the best.
get to the fight.
We can hide it so well,
yeah.
right?
Like disguise and shit is no joke.
Yeah. So
I know.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with you, like how you say you bring happiness to people. I love doing that to people because to me it's like I know how that pain feels that I'm able to do that. But then like it'll be hard because then you're like, who's there for me?
Right,
know?
and that's the thing.
So
and then I feel bad. I feel selfish. I'm like, don't. It's not about. Like I like tell myself,
Yeah.
no, you better keep doing what you need. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
how
it
I
just-
recharge is I go to church. That's how I get, because I can't pick up my I don't like to pick up the phone and tell somebody my problems because everybody has problems.
Neither.
Everybody has
Neither.
problems. So I just have a conversation with God and I just pray and I worship and I just
I need to get back into the church a
I
lot.
got my Bible on
Church of
my phone.
LD is right down the street.
Yeah,
it is. Oh, it is.
I would love
But
to.
it's I took
It is,
a friend
though.
there.
I was Catholic. I was raised Catholic in New York, Roman Catholic, right?
Yeah, I
never
was
knew-
raised Catholic too, and I'm Christian.
Yeah, but I've gone to like Baptist. I'm open to, I've gone to a lot of churches, but I feel like the one thing that I'm missing is, and I don't know what it is. It's probably ego. So I think now I'd be able to do it and be able to get down on my knees and pray and be genuine. But I never could before. I felt like I was just there for the motions to like, I don't know. It's like kind of like telling someone you're sober when you're not, or going to rehab for everybody else but yourself.
Right.
You're not really there. That's how church was for me for a long time. But I do have a Bible that I've bought, and I don't know. I just feel like there's almost like, because I was raised and I went to like CCD and all these things, and I think that's definitely something missing. So seeing, someone at your level who's been through so much like I have, and you're going, I'm like, well, shit, if she can go, I can.
Right.
If it's working for her, it has to work for me, because we went through a lot of
If
the
it
dark
wasn't
times.
for God or having a relationship with God, like I would not be here, because it wasn't even for my family, because it was just the fear of God that kept me here. And always, my mom had us going to church 5 days a week, and
girl,
as
no.
a Latina mom, she's like, as long as you're under my roof, like I don't care, we're going to church, And
Yeah.
it was like apostolic assembly, like the Holy Ghost and everything like that. So we
Yeah.
didn't understand that, but like
Yeah.
when now, like I now understand why people cry and praise him so much, because of what they've been through, not what they're currently going through.
Yeah, exactly. It's what they-
God has got them through. Like that is where it's at. And when I'll be fine, but I'll be like crying at church. I'm like, why am I'm not going through anything.
Yeah, life's
Do you
good
ever
right
go
now.
and
What's
you
up?
just feel- do you ever just go and feel like this energy there?
Oh, yeah.
And they could literally just start a song, and I'm like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck's wrong
Yeah.
with me? Like, what
Yeah.
just happened? But
Yeah.
it's like this thing that just
It's the Holy Ghost. It's the Holy Ghost.
Seriously. And
I
I'm
believe
just
in
like,
all that, yes. But you're
it
more than welcome to
happens.
go
I
to
gotta
Church
go.
of LB. I'll send you the information.
Yeah,
It's every
please.
Sunday at 9, 10. No.
Yeah.
Send you all the information. But I took a friend there he hadn't been to church for in 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I
And
had
he was
same.
waiting on a call. We thought the call was going to be coming, a little bit later. Literally, like 2-3 hours after church, he got the call. An NFL person, and got the call to go. And he was like, 15 years I haven't been in. So everything, and it's like it's no coincidence.
Can't be.
Like nothing
No.
was a coincidence. So
Yeah.
it's such a I love
See,
that
I
church.
think you came on to get me back in the
See?
church. Now I'm thinking that it
once
didn't
again,
even have to do with the fight
works
show.
through God
Yeah.
works through us.
Because I feel I have a lot of guests that, we literally will stay on topic and talk about fights and like just crap that, not that it doesn't matter, but we kind of like, I stick to the script. But with this group, I just feel like there's more important shit to talk about. If that makes sense.
I agree. I agree.
Not that I don't
No.
want to go into like the boxing and tell me about the culture of boxing and how was it then, and I'm sure I hope we could do another show in the future.
absolutely.
But I think that this will benefit people more to hear than
God worked through you, Papa. That's what just happened.
Yeah.
God worked through you to say what you needed to say, for her to say what she needed to say,
And
do
for you
exactly
to-
what just happened.
Yes.
Like
Before we
Everybody.
go though,
All of us.
I would like to know for the fans, your fans, like what is the future for you, champ? Like, are you?
Well, right now I'm going through. Just had stem cell therapy, so that's why I'm back in the gym, but taking it slow. My left arm, I've had this crazy pain for the past like 3 years, and my shoulder's great, but now it's my knuckle that I messed up in the Shields fight. I had a stress fracture, so I don't know if you can see how huge it is right here compared to the other one. So it's healing up. It's been pretty good. Today I used it for the first time and it was fine. But gonna see how my body feels, and I've been talking to out in UK, I can't think of their name, but boxer, Boxxer.
Okay.
So going out there and fighting either at 157 for Jonas or 147, which McCaskill and Sandy Ryan have a fight next weekend, I believe it is. And I think Sandy Ryan's gonna become new, undisputed champ for 147. I sparred her once here. It was my first day back, and I remember I told my trainer, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna want to fight this girl like here pretty soon." He's like, "You're gonna spar her?" I said, "Yeah, because
Then
I'm
I'll
gonna
know.
look like shit. She's ready to go fight. I'm gonna look horrible because it's my day one. Like I just came back from.
You're gonna get in her head. She's gonna think it's gonna be an easy night out.
That's why. I don't care how I look. Please.
Did you watch the Izzy fight this weekend with Strickland?
No, I did not.
Because I think what you just kind of alluded to is, and not to take away from Sean, he's a dog, but everyone was like, he was a 7-1 dog to Izzy, and then he beat the crap out of Izzy with basic boxing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do any MMA. There was no takedowns. There was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He just kept a high guard and used his jab and his right the entire 25 minutes against the counter striker. But because his guard was so high, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy smokes! I got to ask one last question, because it gets a lot of hate. It gets a lot of love too. What do you think about this YouTube boxing stuff?
I knew you were gonna go into it with the Paul brothers.
Just all of them. Like, how do you feel as someone who's dedicated like most of your life to this sport and achieve the highest level, that to see people that have a platform just jump right into like pay-per-view fights and say they're boxers?
Well, we all know what the difference is. That they're wanting to become boxers. That's amazing. They could have wanted to become golfers, but they chose boxing.
Gotcha.
They chose boxing.
That's true. They got money.
They're bringing more audience to our sport. So I love that. They gave Amanda Serrano. She became a millionaire because of the Paul brothers.
Beautiful.
Or Jake Paul, and they're opening up doors. They're not just coming in and just being like, oh, it's all for me. They're helping out so many other fighters. All these male fighters that before they signed Amanda Serrano, they were paying them more than promoters were. So I know the guys, and they're good. They're good guys. They really are good guys. They're fell in love with the sport just like I fell in love with the sport. Who am I to be like, oh, but you can't come in here?
Yeah.
Like that's the hate that I got when I first started the sport, and all these girls were like, who is she? Oh, she's just a pretty girl coming in here, like, oh, she'll drop out. And this girl went on the air, like, talking about, like, oh, yeah, she's getting tossed around. I'm like, what? That's one thing I never, and I looked up to her. And I was like, and that was a hard lesson for me, but I was like, why is she talking about me? Like, I looked up to her. I wanted to spar her. I wanted to become like her. And I had to learn that very young, early, I should say, not young, I was 25, early on. But it was the best lesson, because I was like, okay, cool. You just taught me even more how to not be when I do beat you.
Right.
So.
Like that when I beat you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love that. That's the way.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask. I love it. I've had oh my God, one of KSI's friends, PJ on the show, over at PJ, who boxes and he's friends with all the Misfit guys. He owns Happy Punch, if you've seen them. Yeah, the owner. He's a buddy of mine, but every like boxer besides you that I've met, it just like they give me the bad taste in their mouth type of response, and that just shows a lot about your character. Like, yeah, it brings, like Tyson said, I saw him tell Dana White, look at all the views, look at all the money, especially like Serrano, the money that they're bringing into the fighters. That's cool that you said that, because I wasn't sure if you were gonna be like,
No.
She sees the big picture.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, we all eat together. Everybody
absolutely.
wins.
Absolutely. I'm my strength and conditioning coach is now I always get them confused. Logan and what's the other one?
Logan and Jake. Yeah.
Jake's new strength and conditioning coach, Larry Wade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's out there now with them, and I'm like, yo, tell him to, I'll go out there also.
Yeah, hell yeah. Go to Puerto Rico and hang
they're doing great things
out.
for boxing.
Wait, Puerto Rico?
Yeah, they all live out.
If you wanna take me, okay, coño. No. Let's go.
Me too. I'm not jealous. I always say that. I'm not
Let's go.
jealous
Yeah,
type.
let's go.
So we're gonna wrap it up. I gotta ask you about golf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've said like 5 times. It's the last question. How did you get in it? When did you start golf? Because I started like literally winter of this year, or not even a year ago, and I'm just addicted now. And I'm not the best. I have some shots where they're so good they keep me playing, but I'm obsessed. My clubs are in my trunk right now.
Really?
Yeah. When did you start playing golf?
I started playing golf like 3 months ago, I think it was.
Yes.
Like 3 months ago, yeah. I had to learn because Telly Swift invited me to a charity event, and I was like, yo, I'm not going to look like no fool out there. So I called my friend, and then I got a what are they called? Coaches? Trainers? Coaches?
Yeah.
I got a coach to teach me, and then so I learned. But then I went to Miami, and then my friend took me to tennis, and now I love tennis more than golf.
Really?
I've always loved tennis. Oh my God, when I was little, I act like I knew what the hell I was doing, but I didn't give a shit. But anyway, I got better, but I love it. It's fun. You can do it for hours.
So much fun. But with the movement, it helps me so much with boxing, the footwork and everything like that. Yeah, but I still love golf. I love golf. I still have a trainer. I have a trainer for tennis as well. But
You have a good swing.
I have improved in my swing.
Yeah.
Yo,
Real good.
The less you do, the better it is. And
Isn't that wild?
I'm so, it's.
Because I was so tense that like my fingers were hurting the first
Oh, no,
couple
you
weeks.
have to relax.
My hand, and now I'm
You have
like
to relax.
so relaxed.
Yeah.
Like when I would try to kill the ball, it would like go there. Now I'm
Yeah.
so smooth. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
dance, get your little thumb thing. I
Yeah.
lived in Michigan for a while, and that's all I did. I was bowling and golfing, so I did that.
I like
there.
bowling too.
So that
We're
was
definitely-
bowling.
I suck at bowling. I don't mess with
Wait, you
bowling.
said you don't like, you retired to Seattle because that's where you lived, right? Question for you, because actually I'm going to go on a cruise to Alaska, and I got to go to Seattle on the 22nd. So I've been trying to think, like, where should I go? What should I do while I'm out there for a couple of days prior to getting on a ship? Is there
What
anything
area are you going to be in?
it's
right on the port.
right, yeah, by the port. So it's Seattle, Washington. Just
I know where you're going. My
right
dad just
where-
went on a cruise.
I can't, but
At
yeah.
the pier? Okay.
So close to wherever the hell we go, wherever we got to go to dock, or wherever, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't.
Port.
I
Is it
don't.
dock?
I never went out like that in Seattle because I was just like, I didn't like it. I did not like it. I'm not a big foodie person. I don't like to. I would say I could cook better. I do cook better.
I love seafood though. That's for sure. That's my thing.
I was gonna say, if you're
No,
gonna go
great
to
seafood.
Seattle,
Great chowder.
if you're gonna go to Seattle, just avoid all human contact because they're all assholes out
Oh
there.
my god, that is so
Really?
funny. That is so funny.
But yeah, that's what I want to do. Well,
I think the implants are assholes. The ones who move there.
not the originals.
Let's not get knocked out.
Seafood,
all right?
seafood is great.
Yeah.
Seafood is definitely great.
Yeah.
Chowder, clam chowder.
Oh, that's one of my favorite
For
soups.
sure.
Actually, one
Yeah.
of my favorite.
Yeah.
That and lobster bisque is so good. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because I'm gonna fish on that fucking ship. I'm like, I'm gonna catch me some salmon.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah, I can't wait.
Well, I got to say thank you for coming on. I know we went, probably a little longer. I hope you're
okay.
not
No, thank
late
you.
to anything.
Thank you so much for introducing me to such a cool person now.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you.
gonna follow
I'm so
you
excited. Shit, I
on,
was like, what?
IG. I love it.
Cool,
I
thank
love
you.
it.
Shoot.
Yeah, the atmosphere here is just awesome. That's why I
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of it. And
Yeah.
I never feel any tension or, but I also don't want to go get a federal job again and clock in. So we're going to take this route for a while.
You said you were thinking about it for such a long time to do this. I've been telling myself, like, I want to do something like this with women and with people, just hearing their story, and not so much like the How's your fight camp? I like stories. Deeper
Yeah.
stories.
She
I
told me
love
last night.
deeper
That to me, she said, "What'd you say?"
No, I was gonna tell her right, but like after the podcast, I was gonna tell you because you know how in the beginning you said that they don't let you do the HBO specials anymore, not really, and I'm like she has become so human in this podcast that you talked about the meth, you talked about the assault, and you talked about being in jail, and I'm like, these are the stories that people want to hear, like you said, and I'm like, and it makes her so much more human, like, because then you start to fall in love with Maricela, not with the fighter,
Yes.
not with Maricela Cornejo.
Correct.
you fall in love with Mari, you
Correct.
know, and
If I thought about who she was champion, I wouldn't be able to talk. I'd be nervous as hell.
Right?
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't belong in this room.
But like this whole
Imposter syndrome
podcast just
would
like
kick in.
like it humanized her, and I was like, yeah, like I would watch your podcast to hear more about your personal story, not your fighter story, if that makes sense.
And I would want to just hear people's story. Like yes, I would throw my things in there also, but I would just it would help me also grow so much more as a person. I've always, at 27, I'd be like, man, I know I've been through so much, and I feel like I know so much, but I'm so excited for God to continue to take me through this journey to learn even more. Yeah. Because a lot of people are like, no, I know it all. Oh, I've been through everything. I know it all. No, if
So
you know
annoying.
that much right now, imagine how much you're going to learn in 5 more years.
I don't want to learn anymore. I've been through too much. I'm done, please.
Yeah. Oh, that part, yeah, I check out as well.
You should, put some thought into it. Obviously, your friend who got us together comes here. She's friends with Gio, who's I'm Fight Junkeez. There's Fitness Junkeez.
I'm literally going to look into that because I was like, where would I open up a studio? But it's all
It's
set
already
up here, and
here.
it's you guys just rent it out and everything like that, dude. I would, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to introduce you to John, and John would love, and it brings, because of what you've achieved, that looks good for the studio too, and they've helped me so much that why would I not want to add value to them as well? So
I would love if you
everybody
can
just
connect me
wins
with them,
together.
please.
Yeah, but they might be out there when we're done. So thank you for coming on Fight Junkeez, even though we kind of went into Life Junkeez.
That's going to be my show.
Yeah.
Life junkie.
This used to be what I was called, derogatory, but now you're damn right I'm a junkie. What's up?
That's awesome. Thank you so much for having me here.
Champ,
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't even know what to say. We set it off. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Come like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys again. We got champion in the house. Let's go.
Adios.
Thank you for coming
You're
on.
welcome. Oh my God. This was so